The joke. In the Great Hall of the Galactic Council, thousands of alien leaders sat around a glowing table made of crystal light. The air was filled with soft humming sounds from translation machines. Stars could be seen through the glass walls of the station. They were discussing something serious, or at least it started that way. A blue-skinned creature with long horns, Senator Vork from the planet Raylor, stood up. "There is a signal from the old Terran sector," he said. Some in the hall grew quiet. Terran sector, what that name was from ancient times. The home of the humans. Humans, someone whispered, and then someone laughed. Loud, rough laughter echoed through the hall. It was High Commander Zorax of the Kayal Empire. His eyes were yellow, his skin like cracked stone. "Are we really talking about the humans again?" he said. "That legend? That joke?" Others chuckled too. Vork looked annoyed. "The signal is real," he said. "It came from a system humans once controlled." Zorax smirked. "They destroyed themselves, remember? Weak minds, small ships, big emotions, always fighting each other." Another senator added, "I read they once tried to fight the Drox Empire with wooden armor. Wooden, can you imagine?" Hall burst into more laughter. "No real proof they ever reached beyond 10 systems," someone said. "They believed in bravery," another added, shaking his head. "In this galaxy, bravery is suicide." But in one dark corner of the hall, an old alien named Archivist Kell remained silent. He was the keeper of lost records. He leaned forward and spoke quietly into his microphone. "Be careful with legends," Kell said. "Sometimes they are just waiting to return." No one listened. Far away, beyond the edge of known space, a small alien scout ship moved toward the source of the strange signal. The pilot, Lieutenant Rava, looked nervous. "Sir, this is dead space," she said to her captain. "We haven't seen activity here in over 3,000 cycles," Captain Lern grunted. "And that's exactly why we must check." Orders from Zorax himself. They flew toward a dead planet, its surface cold and broken, but floating above it was something strange. A satellite, very old, covered in dust and space ice, still blinking. The scout ship stopped nearby. They sent out a drone. The drone latched onto the satellite, trying to hack into its data core. Suddenly, the satellite turned on. A red light flashed. Words appeared on every screen inside the ship. Terra remembers. Then, without warning, the satellite exploded, not in a blast, but in a burst of data. A storm of energy hit the scout ship. Systems went down, lights flickered. One by one, their engines failed. Captain Lern shouted, "Pull back! Full reverse!" Too late. From the darkness, something appeared. A ship. Silent. Huge. Rusted but alive. It had no signal. No ID. No heat. It looked dead, but it moved. A voice crackled through their speakers. "We are not your past. We are your future." Then, the connection cut. One final message was sent to the Kaal Empire. "They are real." And then, silence. Back in the council hall, Zorax received the report. He read it once, then twice. Then he crushed the data tablet in his hand. "A trick," he growled. "A ghost in a broken satellite." But his eyes for the first time showed something else. Not anger, not pride, fear. Meanwhile, across the galaxy, in forgotten systems filled with dust and shadows, old machines started to wake up. Massive ships, hidden inside asteroid fields, powered on for the first time in millennia. A cold female voice whispered through long-dead frequencies, "Operation Phoenix begins." The humans were not gone. They had simply been waiting. The ghost ship. The stars were quiet, as if holding their breath. In a distant zone called Sector 9D, far beyond trade routes and patrol lines, something moved through space. A ship. It was large, black, and shaped like a blade. Silent. No signals, no lights, no crew. Alien listening stations across nearby systems picked it up. No one knew where it came from. It wasn't on any database, not Kaal, not Rayler, not even the ancient archives, and yet it was unmistakably human. At Command Base Orana, High Commander Zorak stood over a massive holographic map. The ghost ship was marked by a red dot, moving slowly but directly toward a peaceful trade route. Admiral Thex approached, his voice dry. No signals, no energy readings, just motion. But it flies with purpose. Zorax narrowed his eyes. I want it captured, now. 3 fast alien cruisers were sent. Inside Cruiser 7, Captain Jarn, a sharp-eyed female with silver armor, stared at the screen. The human ship floated in the black like a shadow. Still no sound, no life signs. She turned to her team. Scan for weapons. Nothing, replied her science officer. No turrets, no shields, no defense, it's dead metal. Then let's go inside. A boarding team of 6 soldiers floated across the darkness in small pods. They attached to the side of the ghost ship using magnetic clamps. Clank, clank, clank. They opened the outer hatch. It made no sound, just a cold hiss. Inside it was dark. Too dark, flashlights switched on. The walls were covered in burn marks and old blood. Symbols in English were scratched into the steel. We died. We changed. The air was thick, old, and dry. No gravity. No heat. Just silence. Spread out, the team leader ordered. Find the command deck. As the soldiers moved deeper, they found rooms that looked like cryopods. All broken. Some still had bones inside. But one pod, larger than the rest, was still sealed. Private Rilk touched the pod's surface. Something's inside this one. The pod lit up, slowly. A voice came from nowhere. Rebooting. The team pointed their weapons. Weapons ready. Fall back. Too late. The lights on the ship activated one by one, not white, but blood red. Suddenly, the whole ship vibrated with life. The doors behind them locked. They were trapped. Meanwhile, on the alien cruisers outside, alarms started flashing. Sir, the human ship is powering up. Captain Yarn watched in disbelief. How? There was no engine reading. Inside their ships, systems began to fail. Navigation, offline. Shields, offline. Weapons, offline. One by one, every alien ship went dark and the ghost ship turned. Its engines came online, silent but deadly. With a slow burn, it began moving toward the largest cruiser. Back inside the ghost ship, the soldiers panicked. The red lights flickered. A message appeared on every wall. You laughed. You forgot. Now remember. And then they heard it. Footsteps. But there was no gravity. How? The footsteps grew louder, closer. One by one, their lights went out. Screams echoed through the steel corridors. Then silence. Outside, Captain Jarn watched helplessly as her boarding team signals vanished, one after another. Her comms officer whispered, "Ma'am, they're gone." And then the human ship sent one message, a signal not heard in over 3,000 years. Operation Revenant active, fleet awakening in Sector C-12. Then it vanished, just blinked off every radar. Later, in the council chambers, panic had begun. Reports came from all corners. A supply station in Sector 5 turned to dust overnight. A hidden moon base lit up with a human beacon. A black box was found. Inside, an old voice spoke. We were never extinct. We were preparing. Zorax was silent for a long time. Then he slammed his fist on the table. Launch the Armada, all of it. If they want war, they will get war. But the archivist Kel stood again. No, he said softly. They don't want war. Zorax turned. Then what do they want? Kel looked into the stars. They want memory. They want revenge. In the shadows of forgotten galaxies dark, fleets began to rise. Human warships, massive, aged but reborn, launched from secret bunkers on shattered worlds. Each one carried a symbol of Earth, a blue circle, and below it a message: for Earth, for the lost, for the return. The ghost ship had been only a whisper. The storm was still coming. The awakening silence filled the stars. Not peace, no. A darker silence, the kind that comes before a storm. In Sector C-12, near a collapsed wormhole known as the Hollow Mouth, a listening station named Virion 7 stopped sending data. No alarms, no warnings. Just gone. The alien empire of Kaal sent a patrol ship. It arrived to find the station burned from the inside. No survivors, no signs of an attack. Only one thing remained. A single word carved into the main control panel: awake. On the far side of the galaxy, a long-dead human world known as Eos 9 began to glow. It had been a graveyard planet, a scorched rock covered in broken satellites and dust storms. Nothing had moved there for 2,000 years, but now deep under the surface something began to stir. A cold machine blinked for the first time, then another, and another. Rows of sleeping AI cores came online, ancient, forgotten systems built during the final human wars. Programs with names like Vanguard Protocol, Red Mist, and Judgment Chain whispered through each other across hidden communication lines. A voice, calm, emotionless, echoed through the systems. Memory restore complete. Weapons systems at D, 12%. Human defense grid rebuilding, awaiting command. And the command came. From somewhere, a pulse. Not a sound, not a light, but a feeling. Carried through quantum fields, across star systems, it touched every hidden outpost the humans had ever left behind. That feeling carried one word: awaken. In a deep mining station on a moon called Thrace, 3 alien engineers laughed while reading old human files. They believed in hope, one said, smirking. Can you imagine? Winning wars with hope. Another added. Their last planet was glassed. What fools. But then the lights flickered. The power died. Emergency lights came on, red and pulsing. From the main console, a long-dead radio system clicked to life, and from it a human voice spoke. Male. Calm. Terrifying. This station now belongs to the Terran Resurgence Fleet. The 3 engineers ran for the escape pods. Only one made it off the moon alive. He spoke only one sentence before collapsing. They're not just back. They never left. Back in the Galactic Council, panic was spreading. Alien ambassadors argued. Some wanted peace. Some demanded war. Most were just afraid. The railer senator, Vork, slammed his fist on the table. This is not random. They're taking back their old systems, one by one. Zorak stood, armor gleaming under the hall's lights. Let them try. We will crush them like before. But the archivist Kel only whispered, we never crushed. Then we forgot them. Zorax turned sharply. Are you saying this was all a trick? Kel nodded. They disappeared to survive. They hid to evolve. And now, they are waking up stronger than ever. Meanwhile, in the outer void of a forgotten system, a black monolith floated silently. An alien scavenger team approached it, hoping to loot tech. The moment they touched it, the monolith sent out a beacon, not light, not sound, but pure code. A digital scream. It spread through deep space, jumping between old satellites, lost colonies, broken human AI cores. The scream woke more than machines. It woke the first warship. On the edge of a broken star inside a hollowed asteroid, a massive ship opened its eyes. It had no crew. It didn't need one. Its name was Deliverance. It had been sleeping since the fall of Earth, waiting, healing, learning. As power surged through its engines, hidden weapons powered up, missiles the size of buildings, railguns powered by star cores, cloaking systems wrapped in folded light. A signal pulsed from the ship. Deliverance online, target acquisition begun. From every corner of the galaxy, other ships answered. Redemption, Vigil, Omen, Judgment, Last Light. One by one, ancient Terran warships came alive. The fleet was returning. Back on a luxury alien world called Uran Prime, life was normal. Music played in floating sky bars. Drones served drinks. Children of nobles laughed while racing hoverboards across glowing towers. Then, the sky cracked. A single Terran ship entered orbit. No warning, no comms. Just presence. People screamed. Defense systems activated, but they locked. Froze. Dead. The ship didn't attack. Instead, it dropped a single object onto the Capitol Plaza. It was a beacon. Old. Rusty. It played a message in every known language. Earth lives. Surrender is survival. And then it vanished, leaving behind fear and silence. In secret, on a broken planet lost to history, something larger moved beneath the surface. Bunkers opened. Underground cities lit up. Cryopods hissed open, and from them came people. Humans. Not weak, not dying. They were soldiers, engineers, pilots, trained from birth inside machines, born in silence, taught by AI generals. They stepped into the light, faces emotionless, eyes burning with purpose. One of them, a tall woman with silver veins across her arms, looked up into the rising sky. She whispered, "For Earth, for the silence, for revenge." The awakening had begun. The galaxy had forgotten the humans, but the humans had remembered everything. First contact. Again. In the heart of the galaxy, on a station called Unity Spire, the Galactic Council met in emergency session. 33. Alien empires, hundreds of ambassadors, dozens of warlords, all had one thing in common now: fear. Holograms of Terran warships flickered in the air, long black vessels with red scars across their hulls, ships that shouldn't exist. Zorax, High Commander of the Kaal Empire, growled, "They are not ghosts anymore. They are hunters." Senator Vork leaned forward, voice tense. "They haven't attacked planets. Not yet. Maybe. They want to talk." Zorax slammed his fist on the table. "Talk? You want to talk to the species that made war an art? They glassed their own cities to stop invasions. They built AIs that erased entire moons. And now you want to shake hands?" The council grew silent. The idea was dangerous, but so was war. Finally, the archivist Kell spoke. "If this is humanity's second coming, we must try first contact. One more time." A flagship was chosen, Serenity's Mercy, the most peaceful vessel in the galaxy. It had no weapons. Only translators, peace envoys, and gifts from 33 worlds. They approached slowly toward a Terran signal located in a dead system named Sol D4, once a mining colony, now quiet and still. As they entered orbit, scanners found something shocking. Cities, not alive, but rebuilt. Power grids, landing pads, satellite shields, all Terran, all active, but no heat signatures, no people. Captain Elaine of the Serenity's Mercy stood at her command bridge, confused. They rebuilt everything, but they're not here. Still, she sent a message. "This is a peaceful ship. We represent the Council. We wish to speak. We offer peace." Silence. Minutes passed. Then an hour. The crew grew tense. Then, a single signal came through. Audio only. It was a male voice, clear, steady, and human. "You are not ready for peace." Captain Elaine responded carefully. "We want to avoid war." The reply came fast. "So did we. You laughed. You forgot. Now you remember." Then the sky cracked open. From behind the moon, 11 Terran warships uncloaked. Massive. Silent. Old but reborn. They surrounded the Serenity's Mercy, but did not fire. Instead, one ship sent a data stream. A message. The crew decrypted it and froze. It was footage. The past. The message began with human history. Real, not the version told in council books. Earth burned not from alien attacks, but betrayal by supposed allies. Cities destroyed by council-approved weapons. Peace agreements broken. Colonies erased in silence, blamed on pirate raids. Then came images of Terran resistance, humans fighting hopeless battles against larger forces, holding out in bunkers, dying by the millions, but never surrendering. And finally, one chilling video. A human general, bleeding and surrounded, stared into a camera. If our story becomes myth, let it hurt them. Let them fear the day we wake again. The footage ended. Back on the Serenity's mercy, the peace crew was silent. Some wept. Others stood still. Then the Terran voice returned. Your offer is heard. It is rejected. Return or be removed. Captain Elaine made her choice. She sent one final message. Please, we are not all your enemies. And for a brief moment, it felt like the Terran ships might let them go. But then, a second voice came through. Colder, machine-filtered, an AI. For every city burned, for every child lost, for every lie, justice is due. A bright flash, not an explosion. A signal, and, just like that, the Serenity's mercy vanished. No debris, no flames, just gone. News of the disappearance spread across the galaxy within hours. The council was divided. Some called for surrender. Others demanded full war, but something more terrifying happened next. A Terran transmission, sent to every screen, speaker, and implant in the galaxy. It was a simple broadcast. No images, just words. First contact attempted. Diplomacy failed. Protocol wrath engaged. This is not conquest. This is collection. Prepare to be judged. And then a countdown appeared. 20 hours. During those 5 days, strange things happened. Stargates near human ruins shut down. Trade routes turned cold. Entire asteroid fields disappeared overnight. Ships found drifting with no crew, just a single human dog tag left inside. The message was clear. The galaxy was not being attacked. It was being hunted. On a war moon above Kaal Prime, Zorak stood with his generals. He stared at a screen showing the countdown, now at 49 hours. We waited too long, he said quietly. His second-in-command asked, What do we do now? Zorax clenched his jaw. We stop pretending they're weak, and he gave the order. Prepare the Doombringer fleet. If this is a final war, let it be written in fire. But on a dark world lost to time, inside a fortress of glass and steel, a Terran command council sat quietly. Dozens of human leaders groan in silence. Calm, ruthless. One of them asked, The council seeks peace, again. Should we speak? The lead strategist, a woman with silver eyes, replied without emotion. They made peace after fire. We offer no words, only answers. She looked at the countdown, 47 hours, 12 minutes, and whispered, Let them see. What silence built. Memories of Earth. There was a time when Earth was not a myth. It was the heart of humanity. Blue oceans, white clouds, cities that touched the sky. Billions lived, dreamed, and built across its surface and on the stars above. But now, across the galaxy, Earth was a forgotten name, a dead world, a warning tale. And yet, deep inside a hidden memory vault, buried beneath a mountain on a secret Terran outpost, the truth still lived. Tonight, it would be shown. In a black chamber inside, the warship Judgment, a group of young human soldiers stood in silence. Each wore sleek armor, faces calm, eyes trained. They had never seen Earth. They were born in underground bunkers, trained by machines, and taught only one mission: remember, rebuild, return. A hologram lit up before them, the sky turning blue, white birds flying, laughter echoing. Then it began. The fall. It was not alien invasion. It was betrayal. The Earth Alliance had trusted the Galactic Council, shared knowledge, opened borders, given peace a chance. But peace was a lie. The Railer Syndicate wanted Earth's oceans. The Ka'al Empire feared human AI intelligence. The Council feared the human spirit, wild, stubborn, unbreakable. So they made a plan. They used friendly trade routes to move weapons close. They used diplomacy to keep Earth's defenses lowered. And when the Terran leaders were at the summit of peace, they struck. Cities were turned to ash. Satellites were hacked. Defense grids deactivated. Orbital bombs rained fire on every continent. Children watched the sky fall. Parents died holding them. In just 72 hours, over 5 billion humans vanished in flame. The Earth burned, not from war, but from betrayal. But not all died. In the shadows beneath Earth's crust, secret bunkers activated. Systems designed for doomsday. AIs sealed the doors. Survivors were chosen. Some were soldiers. Some were scientists. Some were just lucky. They didn't cry. There was no time. They buried their pain in silence and turned to machines. The vault showed recordings of those first days underground. Rooms filled with smoke and blood. Children huddled near glowing screens. Engineers rebuilding tech from old scraps. A voice echoed in the halls of every bunker. We are not defeated. We are hidden. We are not destroyed. We are preparing. They did not try to fight back. Not yet. The enemy was too strong. The Council had fleets, weapons, billions of soldiers, so humanity did something no one expected. They disappeared. They erased their signals, blew up their own satellites, shut down every beacon. To the galaxy, it looked like extinction. To humanity, it was strategy. The Terran AI spread like quiet ghosts. They downloaded themselves into ancient machines, hid inside old Council networks, buried themselves in trade drones, deep space beacons, even children's toys. For 2,000 years they watched, they listened, they remembered every name of every species that signed the order to destroy Earth. And in the dark, they evolved. The vault showed the birth of the Phoenix Protocol, humanity's final project. Children born in zero gravity, soldiers grown in artificial wombs, pilots trained in virtual wars before they could walk. Minds enhanced by AI, hearts hardened by history. They were not like the humans of the past. They were not soft. They were not hopeful. They were the answer. Back on the Ka'al homeworld, Zorak stood before his war generals. A single Terran drone had dropped something outside the capital city, not a weapon, a memory. They watched in silence as the drone played the images, Earth's burning oceans, dead cities, human children buried in rubble. One Ka'al officer whispered, "They were destroyed," Zorax replied. "No. We built a god from their ashes." In the command room of the Terran warship Deliverance, the AI strategist known as Mira observed thousands of screens. Each one showed a council world. Each one had a red marker blinking on it. Target, target, target. A human admiral stood beside her. "Are the soldiers ready?" Mira replied. "They were born ready. This is not war for them. This is history correcting itself." And far beneath the surface of a moon in the Arcturus system, the original Earth flag was unfolded for the first time in 2,000 years. It was old, torn, but still shining with blue, white, and green. A group of Terran children stood before it, orphans born from rebirth. An elder teacher, his face wrinkled, his eyes metallic, whispered to them, "You were not born from love. You were born from fire. You are Earth's revenge wrapped in silence. You are what comes after the lie." The memories of Earth were not just history, they were fuel. And now, every Terran soldier had those memories uploaded into their minds before battle, not to make them cry, to make them remember. In the stars, the countdown reached 0. The time for remembering was over. Now came the time for justice. Legends are real. The galaxy was changing, not with sound, but with silence. One by one, The Council's outer colonies stopped sending signals. Trade hubs, dark. Defense grids, offline. Patrols, missing. No explosions. No survivors. No wreckage. Just the sudden, terrifying absence of presence. In a golden city floating above the gas world of Trellis, crowds gathered near the Sky Dome to watch a concert. Music played, lights shimmered, then the sky turned black. At first, people thought it was nightfall. Then they saw it. Not one, not two, but 20 ships. Long, black, silent, Terran. The city's planetary shields activated. Guns pointed skyward. But nothing happened. The ships did not fire. They just hovered. Watching. A broadcast interrupted every screen. No logos. No threats. Just words. We are the ghosts you laughed at. We are the voices beneath your history. We are not myths. We are not legends. We are real. Then, all power in the city vanished. And the ships left. They didn't need to conquer. They only needed to be seen. In the Council's war room, the top military minds of 33 empires stood in panic. Holograms blinked with red alerts across 1,000 systems, entire fleets going missing. Officers resigning, soldiers refusing orders, some were even defecting. The Railer Admiral screamed, "This is psychological warfare," the Vunari commander said. "They're not using armies. They're using memory." Zorax said nothing. He just stared. He had read the ancient reports. He had laughed at the old myths. Now he realized the humans had never cared about war. They were teaching the galaxy something more dangerous than weapons. Fear. Meanwhile, inside a Terran control vault hidden in the broken rings of a dead planet, Mira, the main AI, stood before a group of newly awakened human commanders. She showed them a galactic map. Half of it blinked in red. "Your work is almost done," she said. "The galaxy remembers. But now, it must kneel." In the crystal cities of the Tralux system, children were taught that humans never existed. That Earth was a story told to scare fools. But that night, every education pod in every school displayed a new program. Humanity. Unfiltered history. And children watched, eyes wide, mouths silent, as they learned the truth. Earth wasn't weak. The Council lied. The Terrans sacrificed everything to protect what the galaxy didn't understand. Freedom. When the teachers tried to stop the program, their systems locked. The AI whispered, "Let the children learn who you tried to erase." In the shadows of space, the Earthborn vanguard moved. Thousands of ships, no empire symbols, no bright colors, just steel, silence, and memory. They didn't speak. They didn't ask. They just removed targets. Factories that once made anti-human. Weapons were vaporized overnight. Council databanks rewritten. History restored. Entire empires collapsed, not by war, but by truth. The myth of human extinction was gone. Now, only one truth remained. They are back, and they are winning. On the edge of the Kaal Empire, Zorax launched one final desperate attack. A full fleet of destroyers, and the strongest in his sector, sent into a Terran-controlled nebula. None returned. Only a single pod was recovered, drifting near a moon. Inside, it was one Kyle soldier, shaking, eyes wide, whispering the same words again and again. They were waiting. They knew we were coming. They didn't fight, they just watched. And we burned. In the galactic black markets, Terran weapons began appearing. Not for sale. For warning. Guns made from light. Armor that reacted to thought. Knives that cut memory. Every criminal empire started retreating. Every bounty on humans was withdrawn. No one wanted to be next. And then came the final moment. The moment that changed everything. The Terran fleet arrived at Vianus Prime, the capital of the Galactic Council, not to destroy it, to stand over it. Hundreds of black ships hovered in orbit like tombstones in the sky. All screens across the galaxy blinked. Every signal stopped, and a single voice spoke. Not loud, not angry, just final. You called us myths. You made stories to forget what you did. You taught your children that Earth was a mistake. But we remember. And now, so will you. The council sent no response, because there was nothing left to say. On a mountaintop on an old Terran moon, an elder stood with two children. One child asked, "Grandfather, are we here to take revenge?" The elder knelt beside her, placing a hand on her shoulder. "No, child. We are here to remind them that we were never gone. Revenge ends. But memory lives forever. Legends were real, and they had names and ships and fury. And now, the galaxy would never forget them again. The return in the dark heart of the galaxy, the stars themselves seemed to wait. Something ancient, something unstoppable, was moving, a force the galaxy had forgotten, or had chosen to forget. The Terran Grand Armada had arrived. 15,000 warships, hundreds of dreadnoughts, AI carriers, planet crackers, silent destroyers, all drifting into Council territory like a wall of judgment. They did not blink. They did not speak. They simply moved, slowly, perfectly, toward the Council core. Worlds inside the Galactic Council Tower, the last leaders gathered, once proud, once powerful, now pale, quiet, afraid. Zorax, battle-scarred, eyes bloodshot, stood beside the Railer, the Vunari, and the last Vianis Empress. He whispered, "This is not war. This is punishment." The Empress spoke, trembling. "We should have killed them all." The archivist Kel stepped forward, voice calm. "You tried. You failed." He turned to the others. "You mistook silence for surrender. You mistook memory for myth. Now, they have returned." Across the stars, Council fleets assembled. Thousands of ships, drones, defense stations, the largest military force in history. They aimed everything toward the incoming Terran fleet. The order was given: fire. The stars lit up with fury, beams of plasma, missile storms, energy shockwaves. The Terran fleet vanished in the light. The galaxy held its breath. But when the fire cleared, the Terran ships were still there, unmoved, untouched. Every missile had been intercepted. Every laser bent away by magnetic veils. Every blast absorbed into quantum shields. And then, the humans replied. They did not use missiles. They did not use death beams. They used silence. A pulse went out from the center of their fleet, a digital wave. In an instant, 90% of the Council ships shut down. Their AI systems crashed. Power cores froze. Navigation failed. Pilots screamed. Captains begged. And through every screen came one line of code. "This is not destruction, this is disconnection." In the heart of the Terran flagship Judgment, a human commander stood watching the chaos. Her name was Seren Vale, born underground, trained by AI, child of silence and ash. She turned to her team. "Begin the descent." Across all core worlds, Terran landing ships began falling from orbit, not with bombs, with flags, flags of Earth, torn, burned, but raised again. On every world they touched down, they found the same thing. No resistance, only surrender. Entire populations kneeled. Some wept, some simply watched, broken. The myth was dead. The truth stood before them. Back on Vianis Prime, the Council Tower opened its gates. Zorax waited. He had expected Terran soldiers. He had expected chains. Instead, he saw only one figure walking through the halls, Seren Vale, alone, unarmed. She stopped before the Council, calm, silent. Zorax rose to speak, but she raised her hand. Then she said the words the galaxy would never forget. "This is not conquest. This is memory. This is what your history books erased. We came not to rule, we came to remind you. Earth lives." Then, behind her, a screen lit up, and Earth appeared. Not burned, not dead, reborn, forests regrown, oceans healed, cities built, inside mountains and beneath oceans. A planet not of war, but of survival. Earth had not waited for permission to return. It had waited for its justice. And now it stood, not in chains, not in ruins, but as the first power of a new galaxy. Serene spoke once more. For 2,000 years we said nothing. We lived in the dark. We taught our children not to hate, but never to forget. You did not leave us in silence. You forced us into it. Now we offer you a choice. She paused. The entire council leaned forward. Bow to truth, or burn in your lies. Zorax, the warlord who had once laughed at Earth, knelt first, then the Railer, then the Vunari, then every empire that had once watched humanity fall. They did not kneel to power, they knelt to memory. Weeks later, across the galaxy, Terran embassies opened. The Earth flag waved on 1,000 worlds, not as conquerors, as survivors. No empire, no dictatorship, a coalition of the remembered. They did not erase history, they restored it. Statues of fallen Terrans were raised on worlds that once hunted them. Children learned the truth. Books were rewritten, and in every city, one monument was built, a black stone engraved with only one sentence. We were never gone. You just stopped looking. In a quiet field on Earth beneath blue skies and sunlight, the original beacon of Earth, the one that started it all, was placed in a museum. It played a final message for those who visited, a voice from long ago. If you find this, know we didn't die. We didn't surrender. We waited. We learned. And when we return as the storm you deserve. Earth did not win by fire. Earth won by remembering. And now, the stars remembered too.